now with Jamal Mansour, who's a political scientist and lecturer at the University of Toronto. He joins us from Toronto. And just to pick up on what Abdullah was saying there, describing scenes on the streets of Damascus, the streets of Aleppo, we certainly heard loud fireworks that just months ago would have been mistaken for gunfire. Well, they certainly wouldn't have been fireworks, would they? Just how important is it for Syria and for Syrians today to see Ahmed Al-Sharaa speak in front of the UN General Assembly, speak about a new Syria, the rebuilding of laws and institutions, providing safety, dignity and respect for people, the first time a Syrian leader has spoken to that assembly in 60 years?
Thank you, Jonah, for hosting me. It could not be a starker difference between what Syria was a year ago and what it is right now. The psychological impact of seeing Syria back into the fold of nations. The UN is a flawed institution in the sense of its impact. Certainly Trump's speech yesterday kind of displayed this in stark terms of, his disregard for all the norms, his kind of talking down to the UN as an institution, berating it for some perceived but some also actual missteps. However, this is the world stage, and Syria, for the first time, can claim, rightfully so, of being back into the fold of the nations around the world. This is very impactful and very important in terms of the messages that it's sending from the Syrian interim president onto the world, but also from the world accepting this person who was, like a year ago, considered a terrorist with a bounty of $10 million on his head. All of a sudden, he is now not only accepted among nations, but speaking on behalf of Syria in a recognized world stage. This is very important. And the importance of this beyond the psychological is also the political of Syria being accepted thus into the fold of nations. That means that Syria can now transactionally act with other nations, being accepted as a trade partner, as a security partner, as a cultural entity that no longer is a producer of not only hard drugs going into the regional and international fold beyond, but also as a bedrock of terrorist ideas and so on and so forth. Now it can claim that it's rehabilitating itself and going back into the fold of reasonable, rational, acceptable nations. So the symbolic and political gestures that just this one man standing on this normal stage of the world, speeches at the UN never had this impact for other nations, right? But the fact that Syria can claim this as an entry into the world is very impactful indeed.
He set out his priorities broadly, didn't he? He talked about economic development and unifying a still divided country. The first requires, of course, the lifting of sanctions. He was pretty explicit about the need for that to happen. He said rather less, though, about the second, which is still work in progress, isn't it, in Syria, unifying that country?
Yeah. Yes, Jonah, that's a very good question that you're asking. And what I'm trying to basically rephrase in what you're saying, this is a president who knows his legitimacy rests on an external force first and then internal force. He does enjoy certain legitimacy across certain aspects or certain parts of Syria. Less so in others, none across others as well. We know we're talking about Sueda, we're talking about the Kurdish northeastern region, where this is still a work in progress. However, his external validity is very important to him. He came across a regional understanding that he will be coming and replacing this former regime. And he understands that this is his priority. He's talking to the world stage in that sense. So he's highlighting to the international audience he's speaking his external agenda. We will not be a force of disruption in the region. We will not be a force of producing or trafficking drugs. We will not be a force of terrorism coming out of Syria. These are messages that are intended to basically not mollify, but give assurances to the regional and international players beyond, because the goal is to utilize this as leverage for the money that he needs in order to embark on the agenda interior in Syria. And his priorities on that stage when he was talking to the Syrian American community yesterday and before yesterday, and also right now, clearly stipulates that the economy is the leverage that he will utilize to mollify the other problems that he has, such as sectarian violence, such as separatist movements that he called, and so on and so forth. So his priorities are really clear, and he tried to utilize this stage to reiterate these.
Okay, Jamal Mansour there from the University of Toronto. Many thanks for your insights and thoughts. Thanks for being with us.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.